challenge you. If the choice is not there, like I choose to be gay and I choose to be... Okay, look, if you're saying, this is everyone's recording, if you're happy with that. If you say being a homosexual is not a matter of choice, that means there's something within your genetic makeup. It's okay, brother. It's okay. Let everyone have their own discussion. That means something within our DNA which has given you this kind of behavior, right? The behavior emanates from the program within the DNA. So when we looked at the twins, identical twins, not just any twins, identical twins mean they have the same DNA. Point one.
But they're not the same person. They're made out of the same rubber egg, or they're made out of, there's two eggs that are sperm, but they're not the same person. If we were identical twins, I could have just views on her. We wouldn't if we looked the same.
When we're talking about identical twins, we are talking about not the DNA of the parents or the sperm, we're talking about the DNA of that particular child or person.
Different people. They don't, the minds aren't like the same way. The minds aren't the same.
You're not actually looking into the point I'm trying to address. I am not trying to say how we think, how we behave, how we choose. Because our thinking, our choice, and these are a matter of preference. I can go and choose to drink water, or Coca-Cola maybe, or orange juice or whatever, right? I don't drink fizzy drinks, okay? So that's not an easy advert for Coke. Don't drink Coke. Right. But when it comes to a child growing up with a set of a DNA that is already programmed, if that DNA determines the sexual behavior, then identical twins should have the same sexual preference. But the problem is, in the twin studies, identical twin studies, both of the twins were not gay. If one of them was gay, the other one wasn't. What does that tell you? It tells you that it is not genetic. Yeah, so you cannot then say, we are born that way. You cannot say you're born that way. No, if you are born, brother, if you are born that way, then that's already in your genes. But if you have the same genes and you choose to be gay and you choose not to be gay, that means what? It wasn't in your DNA.
He's saying that is a command of God. That doesn't make sense.
If you're both twins, you have the same DNA, you have no choice. No, DNA. You can map the genome. You can see whether it's the same DNA or not. That's what they've done in the study, scientific studies.
Yeah, but when you do your DNA, it doesn't tell you if you're gay or if you're straight or if you're lesbian.
Of course it doesn't. But when we're saying, look at the markers, the genomes, the codes, right? Is there any difference? Identical twins have the same DNA. If now, as far as I understand, this is the case, right? So if you now have the same DNA sequence between the two sets of twins, one ends up being a gay and one not being a gay, then that was a matter of preference, something else other than the genes. That's why they call it epigenetics, not just genetics, epigenetics. Look this up. So we cannot then say, oh, homosexuality is something in the DNA. You can, in the future, and say, you know what, the one who is a serial killer, the psychopath, the sociopath, everything is inbuilt in the DNA. You can't blame them. You can't make them responsible for any crimes they do. You can blame everything in the DNA. But we don't do that. We still say, look, your behavior could be preferential choice. So what Islam recognizes is, in a society, there are certain rules and regulations. You should follow those rules and regulations for the human conduct of the society. Otherwise, the society will not function properly.
We understand what you're saying, but that's your religion. Yeah, that's your religion. Like, believe what you want to believe. But if you're homosexual, or not if you're homosexual, if you're gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, whatever you are born that way.
No, I'm saying you're not.
Yeah, but you are.
What makes you say you are?
Because that is what you are. When you are born, you do not choose whether to like women or men. People throughout history have hidden on purpose because they are scared. If they could choose, if they could like a man or a woman, surely they would instead of killing themselves or getting bullied. Surely if you thought, oh my God, I'm going to get bullied if I don't do this, surely you would follow their self-guidelines. Yeah.
The point I'm disagreeing with you is this. If you're born in a certain way, if you're born, that means your behavior is determined. This determinant is the genes. If it's the genes, then we should see identical twins with the same behavior, which we don't. That means you're not born that way. That means it's a preference. Yeah? It could be something, as I said, epigenetics, where how you were in the womb and so on, lots of things. So we don't say those people who have tendencies or these preferences or choice or inclinations or feelings towards the same sex, they should be punished. Islam doesn't recognize these kind of things. Islam says, no, punishment is only those when you do these actions in public, in the detriment of the public, So, yeah, that's all. But what you do in your own private, homes, that's up to you. But of course, you should follow the rules of God. If you have, for example, if you have a tendency to have, relationship with animals, try to stop that relationship from developing. That's what we're saying. If you have a relationship with opposite sexes, it's not going to help the environment, help the world, because when you have homosexual relationship, are you going to procreate?
Nothing's wrong with that though.
No, are you going to procreate?
Yeah, no, you're not. You can adopt. There's many adoption agencies. Where
So was that natural then? When you
why should it have to be natural?
look, this world follows certain rules and regulations. That is there what we call the natural laws. So natural laws, it made man and woman complementary, or the male species and the woman species complementary to each other, so that the species can survive by procreation. Homosexual tendencies, it's found in different animal species, but it doesn't mean it's going to help the procreation.
Yeah, because they haven't come out because they're scared. Because people judge other people. Exactly. Because they would be talking like the Stonewall. Gay people start coming out after that because literally hundreds of gay people were murdered in the club. Like it still happens there, like Orlando. Yeah, like Orlando, you know about that? Basically in Orlando, gay people were shot. People in the world still think it's
No, that's discrimination.
yeah, it happens.
So you should not discriminate against. Yeah. So you should not discriminate. That's absolutely clear. You should not discriminate against people because of their language, because of their color, because of their race, because of their. Yeah. But if you have a laws of God, then this is how the laws should be understood. Are you saying you don't believe in God?
Yeah, I don't believe in God.
Right.
Okay, let's
Right.
answer that.
One moment. You're not even 20 years old.
No.
Right. You don't believe in God.
Sure, I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
I can think on my own.
Sure. Good. So, if I were to ask you, why don't you believe in God? Is it because of?
Because I don't agree with
What happened during the Gomorrah and Sodom?
You don't believe in God because of God doesn't exist, or God exists and you think He does certain things which you don't agree with?
What killed them in the Bible?
We have grown up on Catholic beliefs. Like maybe we go to Catholic schools. We go to Catholic schools. We say that our religion. We're not saying that your religion's not real. We don't know that because we haven't been taught. We haven't been taught anything about it. So maybe when we're older and we're old enough to discover and maybe we will change our opinions. What we're saying is we don't agree with the Catholics.
I don't agree with them as well, but I can still be a believer in God, and I do. I believe in God, and I don't agree with the
I
Catholics.
believe in Jesus and the Catholics.
I believe in science, and I believe in God, and I don't believe in the Catholics. So you see, between you and me, I don't believe in Catholicism because it tells you that God became a man and is also God. I don't nonsense to me. It doesn't make sense. Sorry?
People can say that about like Islam.
What can people say about Islamic concept of God? Okay, let's understand that. So I'm a Muslim. I believe that there is only one God, who is the originator of everything that exists. Now, sorry? So how? Let's understand one thing. My belief, or the Muslims believe in a creator, is that there's only one creator who created this universe. Now, how can you argue against that from other religious perspective? Because don't argue with me from a non-religious perspective when there's no God. But if you say, oh, there could be other religions who can say, because just like I don't believe in Catholicism, they can say also like your religion doesn't make sense. So I believe that there is only one God and there can only be one God. Now, how do you think other believers, not in Islam, can argue with me? How can you argue? Because there can only be, right. So because the statement you made, that yes, they can say so, I would say this is not something that you can argue because there can only be one creator, one God, if there was. Yeah, do you follow that, please? Okay.
We believe in science. We believe in science that one day.
What do you believe in science? What have you studied in
One
science?
day, we Big Bang Theory like 500 years. Yeah. And we believe in Big Bang.
Look. Big Bang is just one of the many models. Many Muslims believe in the Big Bang, right? So it doesn't mean this is the model. Do you believe in multiverses? Do you believe in white holes? You believe in science, right? So you should know about these things.
White hole.
Yeah, you know about black holes?
black holes and white, not holes.
White holes.
Hole. Oh, like a big hole. It's a black hole. Oh, not like a black hole. Yeah, black
Not black hole, white holes.
Yeah, a white hole. Hole, like a thing
Okay.
in the ground. Like, no,
Okay.
but you mean hole, not hole. Hole.
H-O-L-E.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
black hole. Yeah. Okay. Do you believe in multiverses? Does scientists believe in the multiverses? Okay. So, just because you have been introduced into science, you are getting the understanding of science from an atheistic perspective, and the science that you are just going to learn, it doesn't mean that's the end of everything that you've learned, right? Even the very basics. There are opinions about the origin of our cosmos. That this universe is not just the only one. There are other universes, multiverses. Many? What's the evidence for that? You believe in science? So if I ask you now, give me a scientific evidence for multiverse, would you be able to even share just one evidence? You won't be able to. Why? Because it's something that you're learning. Yeah. So because you're on a learning curve, it will be very dangerous to be in a position and say, I believe in science and science has proven there is no God. In fact, science proves to the contrary. To give you an example, let me tell you how, using science, you can arrive to a firm conviction that there is a creator.
Our train's about to come. We need to leave.
That's fine. Do you have 5 more minutes?
No, yeah, we've already been here.
Okay, that's fine then. What I suggest you do is this.
I'm able to take it up, like, I understand it. We understand that you believe in that, and we're not arguing.
But believing based on what though? You have to have a basis of your belief.
Yeah, we understand what you're believing in, but we're not going off the point of, we're not saying, we haven't studied in the Muslim religion, we don't know, like, we can't argue against that religion because we haven't learned anything about it. But we are arguing against the Catholic religion because that doesn't make sense. We've learned about that.
I agree, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But if I told you this universe, which is something, cannot be a result of absolute nothingness.
Yeah.
You would say, yeah, because how can something come from nothingness?
Yeah, same as God. How did
Wait.
how did
God didn't come to be. If God came to be, then that means He was created. So let's understand, because you have to go and make it very brief. Something like this could not be just popping into existence from absolute nothingness. Because absolute nothingness, God didn't pop into existence, He was always there. Because right. So you have to believe that. You have to believe either the universe was always there, or it was brought about by a creator. Two possibilities.
Where was the creator come from? Yeah, it doesn't creator.
No. Ultimately, to simplify things, if something exists now, there has to be always something. You cannot have something in the past, there was absolutely nothing. There has to be always something. So either it was God who was always there, the creator, or the universe. Now, what does science say about the universe being always there? Big Bang, you just said. Big Bang is what? The origin of our universe from at some point. Yeah, so that's not mean it was always there. Big Bang doesn't say the universe is always there. No. The options are this universe was always there, or the creator, we define the creator of our universe, has always there. Big Bang model doesn't say the universe is always there.
How do you know it's not before there? How do you know God is always there? It's fake. There's no...
No, it's not about faith. This is not a faith discussion. This is a discussion on rationality and intellect. If there is something now, yesterday there couldn't have been absolutely nothing. No energy, no matter, no space, no quanta, no time. If there was nothing like that, then you won't have something like us. Impossible. Do you agree? You can go backwards like this, backwards in infinity. There has to be always something there. Either the universe was always there, which the scientists say it wasn't. You believe in science, and science is saying it wasn't always there. Or the creator of this universe was always there. Out of these two possibilities, which one makes sense according to science? Not the universe, which was always there. Because if it was always there, then all of the law that is within the universe, are you saying the universe became conscious? A sentient being saying, I want these laws of gravity, the Planck's constants, the gravitational constants, all this constantly in this place? The universe doesn't have a mind. And yet the universe demonstrates the acting of intelligence, wisdom. Yeah? So this evidence from science tells us that it wasn't just a matter of accidents and the universe itself. There was design involved. There was a creator involved. There was an organizer involved. The one who organized and put everything in place. Otherwise, it makes no sense. This is what science will tell you. So, yeah, carry on studying science, but at the same time, question the atheistic, dogmatic model of science that has been pushed forward by Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, and Stephen Hawkins, who's passed away recently, and others, because they think religion is the root problem of the world, so you should get rid of religion, get rid of God as well at the same time.
I don't think religion. No, I don't think religion.
Those people do.
Yeah, we're not. No, yeah, but I'm not Stephen Hawking. Yeah,
I'm saying, but their idea of pushing forward religion outside the curriculum and bringing the atheistic model of life and how we should live is driven by this ideology. The ideology that there cannot be a God, so now we should be living in a way that's godless society. You make up your own laws and so on. I know you have to go, but do think and investigate.
Close to like your religion. Like it makes sense. It makes more sense when you have like understand it. It is like.
And you can too. You can too. You can understand. No, you can understand too.
I understand it, yeah, but I personally don't believe it.
That's a personal choice. For example, I can believe that he doesn't exist here, even though he does. It's my personal choice. I can just say, I don't believe you exist. But that doesn't go against the reality, because the reality is he exists. So if the reality is there is a creator, you can no.
I could say he doesn't exist.
No, when we say he doesn't exist, we have to have a reason for the non-existence. I believe unicorn don't exist. Yeah, but I can tell you why. But when you say God doesn't exist, you have to then give you reasons why it doesn't exist, because all the evidence points to there's a creator. So do continue research, and as a Muslim, I can ask you to look into Islam, read the Quran, and you see for yourself how we believe in this religion. That's right. Yeah? Let's leave it there because you have to go. Yeah? Take care. Bye. This is discussion not long enough.